Okay, so I'm gonna try to make this as quick as I can. So if you don't understand me, I'm sorry. Um, it's been about 2 years now. I made the decision that I wanted to do weight loss surgery, back in 2011. And just to give you a background, because I know a lot of people don't agree with it, a lot of people do, a lot of people think it's a tool, a lot of people think it's an easy way out, blah, blah, blah. Um, a background on myself, not on the whole procedure, but like, I'm what, 29 now? I'm about to be 30 in September. Um, I've been overweight ever since I could remember. And my story is not like everybody else's story where they're like, oh, I ate out of like depression or I eat because of comfort, blah, blah, blah. No. Um, I noticed I was different like very soon, but it wasn't something that was a problem in my family. Like, I'm Mexican, so growing up, like, food was a part of our life. It was a part of us celebrating. It was a part of, like, every day we would sit down and have dinner. It wasn't like portion control or anything like that. It's like if you put that food on your plate, you have to finish it, kind of. And it was, soda. Once in a while we ate out because, hello, we weren't, eating out every day because we couldn't afford it. But Mexican food is naturally, like, pretty fattening, fried, refried beans. Everything has either lard or oil in it, and it's delicious. But, like, it was funny because, like, my sister has always been thinner, and we ate the same food, grew up in the same household, yet she was thinner and I would gain weight. And it's just how it was. Me and my brother were both overweight. And I didn't have an issue with it. I didn't have friends who teased me about it. I didn't have, like, there was, like, occasional bullies, yeah, but it wasn't that big of a deal for me. It didn't, like, scar me for life. I learned that it was okay to be big. My mom always, not okay, like, I don't want to advertise, like, oh, it's great, you should be big. No. But I mean, my mom always made me feel like I wasn't different. Like, I was pretty. I was a happy child. And it wasn't something that they were like, God, you need to lose weight, Olivia. It wasn't like I was a black sheep. I was fine with it. My parents were fine with it. Of course, they did encourage us to, like, be active and try to lose weight or try to eat better. But, children don't value that as much as they should, and I hope that that changes soon. But back then, it wasn't that big of a deal as it is now, because it was a hush-hush thing. It was kind of, I think it's full front and center right now, where everybody's like, oh, obesity is a disease and all that. And it probably is a disease. I know I'm contradicting myself a lot, but my whole point is my story is not like everybody else's, and it's not something that I decided right off the bat that I wanted to go get gastric bypass because I hate myself and how I look, and I hate my life, and I just want to be skinny. No, it's none of that. It's, to me, come on, it's 2 years of thinking about this. And it's not like I didn't try to lose weight any other way. I mean, I've tried. Let's see. Let's go through this, shall we? Let's see. When I was 12, around 12, is when my aunt that lived with us started worrying about my weight. And she saw an infomercial for Richard Simmons, Sweating to the Oldies. So she brought me that. She got it for me, and I did it. I enjoyed doing it. I did it over the summer, and I did lose, like, I think 20 pounds or something like that summer. And my aunt was, like, super happy, and she's like, oh, you're starting to get a nice figure. Maybe you should keep it up, and for sure you'll find a nice boy at 12. Come on. Um, I did it because it was fun. Not because of the weight part, but it was fun. I like dancing, so it was fun to me. That's when I learned I like doing aerobics and stuff. Like, it was fun. And I did continue doing it, but, like, after school started, with homework and everything, and going out with my friends and all that, I didn't do it as much, but I was going out to dances and having fun with my friends. And my weight didn't fluctuate, like, going up and down dramatically. It fluctuated about 5 pounds. And I think in high school I weighed about, like, 180, 175, somewhere around there. Towards the end of high school, I went up to about 200 pounds. I was 18, 19. And then I stayed around that for a couple of years until I turned like 22. And then after my breakup with my long-term boyfriend is when I started seeing that I was being more active and I was going out more, and my weight just stayed the same. But I still tried to, exercise, because it started being more and more of a stigma, I guess, being overweight. People were starting to like really, really be judgmental about it, and I noticed that guys were very judgmental about overweight girls. So going back into the dating and all that at 21 was kind of strange, but and because I was so naive, I didn't understand, and that's when I found myself, to be honest. Is I learned how to accept myself, even if a guy didn't want to be with me, or if they didn't want somebody my size. It didn't faze me, it didn't hurt me. I was just like, okay, well, you're not the right person for me. But I still, like, with my friends and stuff, like, I did the P90X, and I lost 30 pounds, but that's when I noticed that even if I lost weight, even if I did lose weight, I would lose 30 pounds, and then I would gain twice as much back. If I even, like, quit, like, exercising, because P90X was very demanding. It was, like, 7 days a week, no break, strict, like, eating habits for 3 months straight. I did all that, and I was happy that I did it, but I had to be realistic as well. I have to go to school. I had a full-time job, like, 7 days a week was killing me, and as much as I loved losing those 30 pounds, I gained 60 back. So the yo-yo thing. I even did Xenadrin, and I felt like I was going to die on that pill. I gave them to my sister at that time she was trying to lose weight. I was like, Jesus, who does this? Like, these pills feel like I'm going to have a heart attack. So I didn't. I tried the diet pills, I tried the exercising, I joined the gym, I did all kinds of things. And then the minute you stop that habit and you just not go out to eat every day, but like you allow yourself one thing or two things, like a month or a week, or if you become inactive the way your body was used to for those 3 months, you start gaining that weight back. And I just didn't want to lie to myself and say that I was forever going to be doing exercises for 7 days out of the week for an hour and a half every day. That's how a lot of people fail their diets, because they do these things. They tell themselves, I am going to go to the gym, I am going to do this, I am going to do that, and then they don't stick to it, and I don't want to keep doing that to myself. So when I decided that I wanted to try something else, I saw the lab band, and a lot of people were raving about it. I actually met 2 people that did it, and the people that they went through to do it with, like, they went through Beverly Hills physicians, top surgeons in Beverly Hills, that 1-800-GET-THIN. They went through that. I mean, I know everybody saw those billboards and everything. And I wanted to look into it to see what was up with it and see how, if my insurance did cover it, because they kept on saying PPO covers it, and I had insurance at the time, really good insurance. So I wanted to go inquire about it and see what the procedure entails, what the recovery time is, and what the success rate is. And I did research online or whatever. And at the time, I didn't do good enough research. That was my mistake, and I took people's word for it. And I went to that 1-800-GET-THIN in Beverly Hills. And I remember the first orientation, they called it an orientation. You know where it was? It was in a little tiny office. It looked like a broom closet with like 4 chairs. And the doctor came in with a little like device that showed what the pouch is going to look like, where your band is going to sit. And he tells you how he does it, how long it takes. And then he's like, do you have any questions for me? And it was me and this other girl who clearly did not need this. She must have weighed around 180 pounds. I, at the time, I want to say I weighed 250. And she did not need it. And I was looking and thinking in my head, like, why is she here? And the doctor was, like, telling us all the information. He was like, okay. And then she left, and I asked him, and I was just, like, thinking to my head, like, okay, so how does the insurance thing work? And how much is it going to be out of pocket? Because I don't have a lot of money for this to be out of pocket. And he's like, oh, don't worry about it. You know, your insurance is really good. I have no doubt that they're going to approve the surgery. I'm not sure about the girl that was here, but you'll be fine. I was like, oh, okay, I guess he knows my insurance. So I went in believing that this was a legitimate service. Like, this was a real, like, hospital facility that cared. That's what I thought. And then I went again, and they schedule you, like, right away. A sleep apnea test for your eyes. They do all kinds of testing. To them, they say they're building their case to your insurance to say that you need it. And I'm like, you have to build a case? And I was like, okay. And I'm completely naive to this, okay? I don't know anything about insurance or anything like that. So I went to do a couple of their testings, and then I filled out a bunch of paperwork, and then I specifically told them that I didn't have a lot of money to pay out of pocket. And they had me fill out this form saying that I'm not capable of paying the bill, you know, and that I'm a financial hardship, so that they can forgive whatever balance is left over that the insurance doesn't cover. So I'm like, okay, maybe it's not going to be a lot. And that's nice. They want to help you get this insurance. They want to get you this operation. I thought it was kind. I was being very naive. And I went to the studies, and then I started work. And then a bunch of stuff started happening in my personal life that made me miss one appointment. And then I got an email from my sponsor, she's supposed to be supporting me every step of the way, which really it was just making sure that I get to my appointments, and not miss any. And she's like, oh, well, you can't cancel any appointments. You have to keep going, or they'll make you start the whole process again. And I'm like, what do you mean? And she's like, just don't cancel any appointments. If you need to push them back, let me know and I'll reschedule. I'm like, okay. So I was like, okay, she's scolding me for missing an appointment. I was like, okay, whatever. And then I went in again for a test to check my bladder, right? Because some women that are overweight have incontinence. And that procedure they have you under anesthesia, and they put something in your bladder and fill it up with water and see if, like, you can hold it, I guess. I don't know. And then they also check your stomach for any hernias or anything like that. So I had to be under anesthesia. And I did it and all that, but it just didn't feel right. The way that they had everybody set up, it looked like an emergency room where you have, like, beds lined up and stuff. And I don't know, I just felt a little off, and I was just like, okay, why don't they have their own room set up correctly? And I wasn't used to it. If anything of this doesn't make sense to you, like, I'm sorry, but it just didn't feel right. And then I asked finally to speak to my sponsor, like, one-on-one, and I asked her, well, how long because it had been a month into it, how long is this going to take? You know, when can I expect to be approved for the surgery, or when are we going to submit my claim to the insurance? And she's like, well, it takes if we do everything quickly, we can get you your surgery date by, like, 3 months at the most. I was like, okay. And going into my second month, and mind you, they did not tell me anything about exercising, anything about diet, or changing any of my habits, okay? They just wanted to do all this testing. And then I went to my first sleep apnea test, and I came out to have, like, mild sleep apnea. And I'm just like, although having the flashbacks is really, like, pissing me off. I was supposed to get a second one with the CPAP machine to see how much better my sleeping is, to give it to the insurance company so that I can get a CPAP machine. And I didn't want to sleep with no mask on my face. But I remember getting emails because I told her that I was going to have to stop the process for about a month because I had to move out of my place and find a new apartment. And I had a full-time job, and I couldn't drive back and forth from Hawthorne all the way to Beverly Hills. I couldn't do it at the time, so I postponed everything. And this is what turned me off, is that she basically told me, you know, that I was being irresponsible by pushing everything back, that I wasn't caring about my health. She also was completely bitchy through, how are you bitchy through email? She was bitchy about in an email telling me how, you know, she would hate to have my surgery be denied or pushed back because I was being irresponsible with my appointments. And I, you know, very politely told her that I have other things in my life right now going on besides getting more and more testing done. That I had my own personal life that I need to take care of, and if it was going to be such an issue that she can cancel the whole thing, and that I changed my mind and I don't want to do this anymore. And she changed her tone right away. She's like, oh, I apologize. I'm concerned about your health, which is total bullshit. And after that, I never went back. I told her that I sent an email and said to cancel my appointments, and that if I ever decided to go back, I would. And then the calls started where they wanted to try to get me to come back, and I just stopped for a whole year. I was so turned off by the whole thing. And then I started reading on the news how people, like 5 people died at that facility, or the facilities that are owned, because they own like 3 or 4 major facilities that offer the lab band, and, you know, all kinds of stuff. Like I started hearing people complain and lawsuits coming up against them for malpractice, and how their conditions were not sanitary, and, you know. Oh, I forgot to mention, you know, you're supposed to get a nutritionist to tell you how to start eating, and I got my nutritionist, and she was this, like, skinny, tall lady who sounded, and I'm really not being a bitch, she just sounded like she was in high school. She didn't talk very, like, she didn't really know how to speak to people about nutrition. I don't know how to explain it. She was just like, you you shouldn't eat carbs, and, you know, just don't eat anything that's fattening. What kind of nutritionist is that? It was just bad. I was like, what the hell am I doing here? And then also, you're supposed to get a psychiatric evaluation to, you know, evaluate if you're doing this for the right reasons, you know, if you're not doing it because you have depression or whatever, you know. And their psychiatric evaluation was this guy over the phone. He called over the phone to one of the nurses and handed me the phone and asked me, oh, you don't feel depressed or anything, do you? No. And you're changing your eating habits. You're gonna change them, right? Yeah. Oh, you're fine, you're good. I'll give you a certificate. I'm like, who the hell is this? Who is this guy? Like, and they're gonna bill my insurance for that, for sure. You know, it was just wrong. And I just stopped, and I was just like, fuck. I thought, like, doctors and nurses and psychiatrists and all that are supposed to care about their patients. They're supposed to care about their health genuinely, not this crap. And it just upset me to no end, and I just stopped completely. And then I think about a year later, after exercising, and my weight was just like, mind you, I forgot to say that I switched jobs. I wasn't in retail anymore. I was in a call center where you sit down all day, and oh my God, did that affect me. I gained, in that 1 year, I went from 230 to 280 at the highest. 280. I wasn't really going out anymore, like dancing and stuff, because I had a full-time job, and I was in a relationship, and yeah, Ron likes to eat out a lot, and it's not his fault, but I'm responsible for what I did to myself, because I wasn't saying no either, and I was just like, sure, you know. And then he introduced me to rice. Jesus Christ, I never ate so much rice in my life. That rice, like, machine, I fought getting one forever, but I gave in and got one, and it was like, rice for breakfast, rice for dinner, rice for lunch, you know. It was terrible. Like, my eating habits, like, were at their worst, I think. And I went up to 280, and I found another job that is still the same thing, though. I work for an online company, and I'm always on the computer. That's what I do. I make sure that, like, sales are going okay. I upload product. I check inventory. I, email back and forth with our distributors. Sometimes I have to get on the phone if I have to be a bitch to them or whatever, like, it's just on the phone and email and phone and email and computer. So all my retail, going up and down ladders, stocking, restocking, helping customers, ringing people up, standing up 9, 10 hours a day, that was gone. All I did was sit down 8, 9, 10 hours. So, yeah, that's how I got to where I am. And I take full responsibility for it, I don't blame anybody else but myself. I know that this is something that I did to myself for being irresponsible with the way that I eat, for not eating when I'm supposed to eat, for not eating breakfast when I was supposed to eat. I mean, all kinds of things. And this last year is when I decided to do something more drastic, like more permanent, rather than the lap band, because the lap band is more like a temporary thing. If you get tired and you don't want to have it anymore, you can just have them take out the liquid and you'll be fine again. And I didn't want to do that, so I decided that I wanted to do gastric bypass, because that's the procedure that's been done for about 20 years now, and it has the lowest complication rates, but it's also the biggest change you can make. So I decided to do that one, and I started looking for facilities that were in my area. And at the time, Ronald had mentioned, that he thinks they do that at Torrance Memorial, because that's where he got his gallbladder removed, and he said that they treated him really well and that it was a really good hospital and that I should inquire. So I looked up online and I found out that they do have a bariatric facility specifically with doctors that do that. So I read reviews online and they were good. I talked to the intake nurse that gets you set up with the program, and whoa, was it a big difference. It was a huge difference. It was an actual orientation where they provide drinks and all that, like healthy stuff. And the nurses come in and they talk to you about, eating habits. They have a nutritionist come in, and they have a psychologist come in, and then they have the doctors that you can talk to come in, and you choose your doctor based on their background and what procedure you want to get. And then they tell you their experience and how many they've done. They give you references of their patients, so you can talk to them and see how they felt about the service and if they liked him or her, or, it was way better than what I experienced with 1-800-GET-THIN. Extremely. Like, total, just different. The orientation was, and then the doctors were there like, look, if you're not going to change the way you eat and you're not going to start exercising and you're not going to do anything, then you do not need to be here. Even if you have the insurance and even if you get approved, I will not operate on you. So that was comforting to know that people were there because, they were actually going to change. And they went through my insurance and they went through the whole process, and they told me that it was 6 months. 6 months of supervised exercises and diet, which means I had to lose weight before I even got the surgery to make sure that I was being committed to changing my lifestyle, which I totally am, and I have. I've lost I'm close to losing 40 pounds now, and I've kept it off for the past 6 months. They do assist you with actually giving you a nutritionist. They tell you if you need support groups, you have to go to support groups, you have to take classes, you have to read a book that tells you about the surgery, and you have to take a test and pass it. I mean, there are so many things that are different with this program where they actually tell you the truth about the insurance and how much you're going to pay and how much the insurance is going to pay. They tell you, and this is before you even start anything. This is your choice of whether you want to continue or not. And it's 6 months mandatory that you have to wait to get the surgery, which is pretty good because that's how long it'll take to retrain your body, retrain your mind to accept the fact that you're not going to be eating a lot of rice anymore. You're not going to be drinking. And I gave up soda and juice and all that stuff, so I'm just on water now, which is pretty awesome. I don't really eat any fried anything anymore. Everything's baked. Yeah. I made a lot of changes, and I didn't even have to be extremely like freaking 7 days a week working out for an hour and a half. Like, I had time to still focus on my job, focus on my new baby cat, my brother, my sister, the kids. I had time, and I still have time to do all that without having to sacrifice all that just so that I can exercise and, plan my meals and all that. Like, now I know what I'm going to eat. I know what to cook. I know what my limits are. And if I do, and I'm not saying I never go out to eat, when I do go out, I don't eat what I used to eat, like a whole plate and like every portion size that they put in front of your face. Like, no, you can always like limit what you're going to eat. I mean, nobody said you can't have, sushi as long as you have, half a roll instead of like 4 rolls, You just have to portion everything. You can't just eat whatever they put in front of your face. Because I think that's what the problem was. And especially because I grew up with the whole, you gotta finish what's on your plate, like, it's just a habit that it was hard to break, but I'm okay with it now. But yeah, I decided to do it, and my surgery is actually this Friday. I'm freaking out because I've never had any kind of surgery. I've never stayed overnight in a hospital, and anytime I did go to a hospital is because it was not good. Like, either Ron was in the hospital and he almost died. My parents, my mom, my dad, they were in the hospital and it wasn't good. So I don't have a very good feeling when I have to be in a hospital, but hopefully this will be something good for me. I can tell you right now that I have made up my mind, and I haven't thought about not having the surgery, but I'm just scared of the pain, the recovery time. How long is it going to take me off of work? That's what I'm worried about. How long is it going to take me off of work? And just making sure that I recover fast enough, because I love my job. I want to make sure that it's up and running and good. I don't want anything to happen while I'm trying to recover. How sad is that? I also, of course, I don't want anything bad to happen to me, but, this is a choice that I'm making, and I'm okay with my decision. I'm really okay with my decision, and Ronald has been very supportive. So has my family, and I'm surprised. I thought that they maybe might have a little judgment about it, but no, they've been very supportive about the whole thing. They even explained it to the kids, and the kids are understanding it. So my whole point of this video is, whoever's thinking about doing something like this, do your research. Don't just hand your life to somebody that, for one, has complaints and lawsuits against them because they freaking killed people. The surgeries, they weren't done properly. The facility is not up to like regular standards of a hospital. Do your research. Just because you want something done, like if they want to get you in and get you out in 2 to 3 months, that's not gonna help you. It's going to make things worse. You could get an infection, you could die on the table, or worse, you're not even gonna be retrained or really accept the fact that you're gonna change your life, because it's not a temporary thing. It's a forever changing your life. I wish somebody would have told me this, because I was searching online yesterday to see if anybody had this kind of experience the way I did with them, and I don't see anybody, at least not in the tags or when I looked on YouTube and on the internet, if anybody complained. The only thing I found was the news reporting on, the 5 deaths. Yes, I have a lisp. And I thought it was really strange, because I can't be the only one who had this experience, right? Am I the only one? I hope not. But you know what the funny thing is that when I started doing the procedures now, like going through the testing here, because I had told them that I went to 1-800-GET-THIN, and they told me that a lot of people have come to them because they didn't feel comfortable going to them anymore, because they started the procedure with them and then they ended up like leaving it because they didn't feel right, and they ended up finding Torrance Memorial. So I guess I'm not the only one that's had this experience. I wish somebody else would have posted it online so that I could have saw it and said, hey, maybe I shouldn't do it with them. Just to let you know, I know this video is getting a little long. The 1-800-GET-THIN, they billed my insurance, and I didn't even get the procedure done. They billed my insurance, I think, almost $60,000 for testing. And they didn't even do the procedure on me. And then afterwards, they kept calling me to come back. And I ignored those calls. And then, this is a big one. When I started doing my weight loss surgery, like, preparation with Torrance Memorial, they wanted me to get my test results back from 1-800-GET-THIN. They wanted me to get the test results so they won't have to retest me for everything. And 1-800-GET-THIN refused to release my records. They refused to release any results that they got because they wanted me to go back over there. They wouldn't send them my results. So I had to do my testing again. And it's funny that the surgeon himself called me on my phone. I think I still have the voicemail. He called me and he left me a voicemail saying, hey, I heard that you went back to try to get your procedure done with someone else. I was wondering, maybe we did something that, wasn't to your liking. Maybe we can, fix something. I do know that, you had a pending balance. I have a pending balance after I haven't been with them for a year, okay? Even though my insurance paid for everything. And, we can work something out, we can clear that balance up if you just come back to us and we can continue doing your testing and get you approved with us. That's what he said. That if I went back, that he would clear up the books of any balance left over that I owed. I don't owe anything. I have a paper that states and that they signed and that I signed that nothing was going to be paid out of pocket. I was like, oh, that sucks that they're trying to use that to try to get me to go back, but I didn't. And this just shows what kind of people they are, what kind of people that work there. I don't understand, I think that opened my eyes up to, the whole medical field, because I know nothing about it. Like I said, I never went to the hospital to get anything done. I went just to clinics, for regular checkups and, girl stuff, pap smear and shit. I never stayed overnight or anything like that, and my parents were always covered by, government programs because they're low income, so I never really experienced any of this crap, and I didn't enjoy it. I felt very, taken advantage of and, betrayed because I trusted that company. I thought they were really a legitimate, facility to help you lose weight. I didn't know that they were going to treat quote unquote everybody like cattle and just getting whatever they can get out of your insurance. I really didn't think it was going to be like that. So my ending to this video is, if anybody's out there thinking about doing this, don't go to those things that you see on the billboard. Go to a weight loss facility that is accredited, that has people that have been doing it for years, that has people that, will hand you their references to say, here's what we did, and this is the person we operated on, and you can ask her how her experience was, do your research, or you're going to regret it. I could have been one of those people. I could have been one of those people that died on that table. And I let them put me under anesthesia. Something bad could have really happened to me. So I feel very stupid for being that naive to believe that, and not seeing the red flags, not doing more research, and not opening my eyes to what was going on around me. It wasn't that hard to figure out. I should have questioned things sooner than I did. But that was 2 years ago, and this is now. So I think that this surgery tomorrow, and on Friday it's gonna go well. I mean, everybody has been great up to now. The facilities is excellent. I saw it. I'm gonna get my own room for recovery, and it should be a good procedure. I'm gonna be there at 5 a.m. on Friday, so wish me luck. And if you don't agree with this, then I'm sorry. My life is not to please everyone. It's for me, myself, my family, and for Ron. So those are the people that I have to worry about, not anybody else. Okay, so I hope this helps someone. you know, because I was up looking for all somebody to say that yeah, I had the horrible experience with 1-800 gets in, and I didn't see anybody say anything. So, wish me luck. I'll probably post a video of me going to the facility and seeing. You guys can probably see me all drugged up before I go into surgery. So wish me luck, guys.